Hey, good evening, everybody. John Henry Soto here. Welcome to JHS Interviews. Tonight, I have the founder of Soulful Chicago Book Fair and author of Bitcoin for Black People, Asadah Kirkland. I'm very excited to talk to her. I just recently got into Bitcoin, although I knew about it for a while, but I'm actually on that journey now. So I'm very excited to bring her on. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Asadah Kirkland. All right.
Oh, I hope we don't laugh too much because you make me laugh so much.
Well, we probably are gonna laugh, but which is all good. So thank you for being here. I appreciate this so much. Your knowledge and just the fact that recently I've gotten really into learning more about this and gotten serious with my family actually. And to have you as a person that I can go to is always a blessing. So for you to be here for our audience is really fantastic. So thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm loving the platform and always a pleasure to talk about Bitcoin because people just really don't know. They just don't know. So it's
Yeah,
a
and
pleasure to be here, darling.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I wanted to kind of just you're also the founder of Soulful Chicago Book Fair. I thought maybe you can start off with that a little bit and then uh just jump into Bitcoin and then just knock it out through there. What do you think?
Sure, I love that idea. Basically, I'm here in Chicago, but if you listen to my accent, you can tell I'm from New York. From New York.
Cool in the
But,
house.
in Chicago, I lived here in the 90s because I went to Northwestern and knew it was an awesome aesthetic city. I just love it. You can do so much. And it's a very literary focused city. You have some really great writers like Lorraine Hansberry and Gwendolyn Brooks, and they're all from Chicago and some other great folks. And I just couldn't believe that there wasn't something to celebrate other writers in this city.
Mm,
And coming from New York, we have something called the Harlem Book Fair, and I just knew that this could be a place to see something like that flourish. And so I would say this would have been our fifth year doing it. And I take over 4 city blocks, reroute the bus, and it brings out like 4,500 people, and it's all Black writers. And people
wow.
sometimes, they like to say stuff like, "Why just Black?" They're like, "Cause I'm Black. Like, what's what I'm gonna do?" Right? But the reality is that our stories get told by different people, and
Uh,
so it has the viewpoint of others about us, and it's like, what about our own views of our own selves and us telling our own stories? And so that's really what it was about, creating an event where that could happen. And it's really wonderful. One block is fiction writers, one block is nonfiction writers, one block is children's writers. We have out Grammy level artists that compose their own music, and it's really been a force to be reckoned with. I didn't know it was going to be so big, but it's a good thing. I'm about literacy. I don't know why I'm about literacy, because it wasn't like I was growing up like, I need to be a writer. But
right.
it's something about, but I've been put in all these different environments where creating sort of a knowledge about literacy, and particularly Black literature, has been a road that I've traveled just because I was told to travel it. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful just founding it and making it bigger and bigger every year.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm gonna quickly ask you if you can move your monitor a little bit so the glare, 'cause I want to see.
Watch this. What if I take off my glasses?
Well, is that okay? I mean, I don't want to.
Okay, like I'm
Glasses
not
were
blind. No, no, I
glasses
can
were
do
fire. I'm into glasses.
I
I was
know it's okay,
born
but
with
it's all
those.
good. Go
These
ahead,
were
babe.
on me when I was born. So can you watch these? So let me ask you, Bitcoin. How long ago did you first even hear about Bitcoin or you got interested in it rather?
Sure. I got interested in Bitcoin probably in around 2017, right?
Yeah.
Um, I was introduced to it first in New York in about 2012. And I just was kind of like, whatever, get on out of here. Like, I didn't know what he was talking about. The gentleman, I thought he was trying to sell me like Buffalo coins or something. I was like, I'm not doing that now.
Oh
Not
man, I
doing
love
that.
those
Right.
Buffalo
My
coins.
mother might have one of those, but I'm not doing that. So he
Right.
didn't really explain it. But come 2017, there was a woman here in Chicago. Her name is Raymonda Pearson. She's this woman who just she has this wonderful big afro, and she brought this Bitcoin to me. And when she told me, I was like, okay, I heard about it a little bit. But then, you get somebody tells you something, right? It's a higher power that just kind of tells me what to do in the morning. And one morning it was like, find that lady. And I
Mm.
was on a quest to find that lady about this Bitcoin, and happened to be in someone's car, drove by a Starbucks and saw that afro coming out that Starbucks. And I was like, pull the car over, pull the
Bitcoin
car
lady,
over. And I
Bitcoin
was like, you I
Afro.
need to talk to you, right? The Bitcoin afro. So yeah, so she definitely got me in the mix, and I started to learn from the sessions that she took me to. And it just was a no-brainer, because once I understood overstood what it was, it was just easy to adopt into my life.
Mm.
And I like new things. I'm not scared of the unknown. So
Right,
going into the unknown was like, whatever. And it's been the saving grace for me in every ebb and flow of finance in my life. I'm an entrepreneur and an author and all of that. But especially during this pandemic,
yeah.
whoa, did I need something to create um, money for myself, and Bitcoin really saved the day.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
So, not a lot of people are like that, where they're love to just try new things. A lot of people are very, very concerned, and their money, their 401k is all tied up, controlled by a system. Where if the system collapses, you're done, right?
Yeah.
But that security is still there for them. So,
Mhm.
what do you tell someone? What's one of the first things? Well, first of all, what is a Bitcoin?
Sure. Well, first of all, when I do, because I do webinars throughout the week, I even do them for the UK and Africa on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And, so I talk about Bitcoin a lot. But what a Bitcoin is basically, it's just digital money. Okay. It's not coins in your pocket. You cannot touch it. And if you think about it, people say that's so weird, but it's not. We do most of our transactions financially digitally. I don't care
That's
if it's
true.
a debit card or Cash App or Uber. Like you're not exchanging cash anymore. It's really becoming a cashless society. Some stores even now are saying we're cashless. So it's not really foreign by way of we're not used to transacting money that way. It's just that the currency itself is becoming digital. So you're not going to have to deal with going to China or something and spending a yen, or going to Mexico and doing pesos, or you can have Bitcoin because Bitcoin spends anywhere in the world. And so it's a digital currency that actually is more valuable than gold right now. You can buy 5 ounces of gold with one Bitcoin. When the years were that we were talking about, that we learned about Bitcoin, like I said, it was $10 a coin when I was introduced to it. But now Bitcoin is like $11,800 per coin. And so what I do is I teach people how to accrue it, how to grow it, how to get it, because it's also a currency that it's what we call decentralized. It's a decentralized currency. And what that means is not one central organization owns it. So not a government, not a Federal Reserve. It's decentralized. That means that other people, we own it. The people own Bitcoin. And that's a very different phenomenon, because up until this time, I mean, at one point we maybe bartered, or we used shells as money or something like that. But then paper money came in, and that's when centralized government started saying, what you got shells, you're not using that. Here's
Right.
our money,
Yeah.
and then we got into that system. But now that system is tanking. And so
Right.
cryptocurrency is allowing for people, even if you're a farmer in Botswana, you got a device, you can have some Bitcoin and really make your money that way. And so yep, it's just a digital currency that you can, if it's $11,600 now, you don't have to have that much to get it. You can have a fraction of that, and people buy it in fractions and then make it grow.
Yeah. So when you're saying the banking, yeah, tanking,
Right.
so put that into perspective a little bit, because I know that there's you can watch the stock market, for instance. It's at its highest it's ever been, right? I mean, it's extremely high right now.
Hmm.
um and so people that are in the market are looking at that, are kind of looking at things going, things are pretty good, I mean, but there is a weakness in the Federal Reserve, right? And it's always been there, because you can't print money towards something that you haven't produced yet, right? You just produce. You can't just run the machine faster, because the energy of money is energy, right? Money has to be There has to be some type of an exchange for whatever it is, right? Any kind of currency, right? So
Hmm.
how is it that the money, that the banks and all this stuff, why is Bitcoin better? What is my question to you? Why would you say Bitcoin is better than I take my $100 and I'm going to put it into my bank, and I'm going to get, 4 cents every 10 years
Mm.
increase.
That makes me
Okay,
cry. Hold
yeah,
on.
I'll take 4 cents.
Hold on. I'm going to cry for me. We should not, that should
Is
not
it
be
even
the case.
4 cents?
Right?
I don't even think it's 4 cents anymore. I think now you pay the bank, right? Don't you pay now monthly for you pay like $12? I pay $12 or something like that.
Yeah,
Then
I don't
hold my
use
money.
banks much. Yeah, I don't use banks much anymore. I even teach my daughter. She's 16. We were talking the other day, and I was talking about her with a job. She said, "I don't need that. I got Bitcoin." I was like, "Oh," like it was totally like this world of, she just made a 5-digit number the other day. As a
Wow.
16-year-old. So
Wow.
basically, why is Bitcoin better? Well, first of all, there are tons of people who are unbanked. There ain't no bank. You know what I mean? You're a rural farmer in Zambia. What bank are you using? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so there are so many people that are unbanked. If they can have Bitcoin, it's a way to create more and more money without needing a bank. You creating cash flow for yourself. And so it's just better because in terms of accessibility, you don't have to you there's an open door to make as much Bitcoin as you want, right? Particularly the way that we do it. Um, Better because, oh, I remember I made a large sum of money and it was coming through the bank. And they actually shut my account down because they weren't used to that amount of money coming into the bank. And it's like, why are you doing that? Like, this is a business account. And they were like, oh, we want to prevent from fraud. Fraud is when they're taking your
Money.
money and
Right.
not because you see me, what I'm
Somebody is
not.
putting way too much money in your bank, Asada. We need to call the FBI on this. On this.
Right. And so, so that was a problem. That's a problem. You're making honest money. It's in larger sums. Thank God you're not struggling anymore. But then the bank holds it and doesn't let you get it. And so there are the restrictions of companies and institutions that deal with fiat money. Fiat, Fiat, that means government, right? If money that's owned by the government. So you say fiat money, money that's owned by the government, right? So if it deals with fiat money, especially stocks and all of that as well, I'm particularly not that interested in it because of the road of fiat money, and it's fixed. Like if I give you $100, you have a business, and I pay you $100 in fiat money, in regular money that we use. Okay, that's $100, and that's $100. But if I give you $100 worth of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin keeps going up like it's going up right now, even though the transaction has occurred already, that $100 will turn to $150. It'll turn to $200 even after the transaction. That happened to the rapper 50 Cent, right? He sold an album in Bitcoin. And so years later, when Bitcoin in 2017, Bitcoin went up to $20,000 a coin. And so here was this album he sold for Bitcoin. It made him an extra $7 million because Bitcoin is not fixed. And so people try to say, oh, it's volatile. You don't want to use it. No, that's why you want to use it, because it moves, it constantly grows. And so they're talking about Bitcoin now really hitting maybe $30,000 and $50,000 by
Yeah.
year's end, maybe, even if
Right.
it's next year. So in our and the way we roll in our club, in our Bitcoin club, you acquire a ton of Bitcoin, 8 Bitcoin, 70 something Bitcoin, and it's like if one Bitcoin goes to $1 million, which some of the predictions are talking about, and you have 10 of them,
Right.
you have 20 of them. So, and it's so having Bitcoin is essential. My daughter, I opened her a savings account at one point, but no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
We're going to put your money in Bitcoin, and then knowing and watching it grow. Believe me, it feels amazing to see a teenager go, is this all my money? Is this all? I can go get a Gucci belt?
That's
That's
exactly what I was thinking. Gucci belt,
right. Get a
another
Gucci
one.
belt.
Um, so
Yeah,
let
so it's great.
so let me ask you: someone has a Bitcoin,
Mhm.
and they walk into a store that accepts Bitcoin. They have, because now you go into some stores and you see the Bitcoin logo, right? You see the Chase logo just the way it used to be, but now they added another one, which is the Bitcoin logo. Now,
Sure.
how do I pay for that?
So it's a couple of things. If you have a store that accepts Bitcoin, you're gonna see you're on your device. Let me show you. You could either have Bitcoin on your device, and it's just like you see people go with airline tickets. They'll have You see this a QR code. Can you see that or not?
I
Let's
can't really
see.
see it now. The light
I'm
usually when
sorry
you
about
do
that.
that.
But like, well, there's a QR code. You all know what a QR code looks like. It's one of those squares that look like a barcode, right?
Yeah.
And so you have a device and it has your wallet on it. And if that store accepts Bitcoin, then you only have to take that. You could get a camera, you tap it, and you take a picture of their barcode and you pay for everything. So that's if they
Okay.
accept Bitcoin.
Right.
But I buy my groceries with Bitcoin and I pay my bills with Bitcoin. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I have this. Wait a minute, let's see. See that? BitPay
Oh,
Visa card. See that?
okay.
Yeah. So you have a card and you simply have to, you just take your device and you switch your Bitcoin over to your card and you buy your groceries or do whatever you want. I had
Right.
one merchant say one day, he said, I don't believe in Bitcoin. I said, I just paid you in it. Like, if it wasn't for Bitcoin, you would not have gotten paid today. So yeah, you
Right.
switch it back to fiat, but still you have this sort of reservoir of Bitcoin. And sometimes
Right.
I'll go shopping, spend $100 something of Bitcoin, and then I'll get home and then it's back again. It's like,
Right.
huh? Like you almost didn't spend any money.
So having that card doesn't really affect the Bitcoin. It's not like you've signed up with Visa or you signed up with it. It's just another way for you to use your Bitcoin money right out of
Yeah.
your account, right? So there's
Yeah.
no attachment to a bank.
Right. It's no attachment to a bank because what happens is that so I have everybody download a BitPay wallet. That's just one of the types of digital wallets that you can download. And that BitPay wallet has where you can order one of those cards. And so they have the agreement with Visa and you don't have to
Right.
worry about banks, what have you, and you're just transferring Bitcoin over to it and voila.
So let's back up a little bit on the wallet because I want to make sure our audience understands that when
Mhm.
you say a wallet, it's almost like actually a physical wallet that we have today, right? Like I have my wallet, right? And my wallet has my credit cards in it, my license, all my stuff in it, and I walk around with that and it has money in it.
Mhm.
So if I forget this, I can't buy things when I'm outside, right? That's just the way been accustomed. But now you're saying that the wallet is digital.
Yes, the
Now,
wallet is digital.
and it could only be in one location.
So there are different types of wallets. The main thing to know, think of it as even like Apple has the Apple Wallet now. You know,
Mm.
these programs that are in your device where money is stored, except for they're storing fiat money. They're storing regular money that we're used to. And mind you, I just want to say this little fact. The money that we use right now has not been backed by gold since 1971. So for 50
Right.
years, we've been using paper
Been
that has
using
no value. But anyway, I just want to say that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
basically, with the digital wallet, yeah, it stores your Bitcoin, or that's not the only cryptocurrency that there is. There are other types like Bitcoin Cash or Monero, XRP. Those are different types of, they call them altcoins because they're different than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the big papa. It's like worth 11,000, but the others are worth like maybe 300 right now. So these other coins can be in your wallet as well. But for the sake of how we roll in our club, the Bitcoin is held in the wallet, right? And so you just have to know what kind of wallet you want to use to store it. You have different types, like the one I was going to show you on the phone or the one connected to the card is a warm wallet. It's called a warm wallet because it has codes that you own that no one else has. And so when you download the wallet, it never asks your name, it never asks your social, it never asks for any information from you. It just gives you a code that represents that device for you. And so you store your Bitcoin there and it can grow into however much you want. And it's online based. But then as I showed you earlier, there's this little puppy, mommy's booby. That's called it's called a Trezor. It looks like a car alarm or something like
Yeah.
that, but you can hold billions of dollars on this. And so the wealth goes on
A
here.
billion? You said billions with a B?
Yes, I did. Hmm.
Okay.
And so you can hold that on. Yes, I did say that. And so you can hold that here. I think Obama said in one of his speeches, he was talking about to Congress about this Trezor device. And he said, how are you going to control people carrying a Swiss bank account in their pocket? And so, it becomes this place for your wealth. But
You can't.
yeah, you can't. Exactly. And so this
Uh-oh.
also holds that much money. We're taught to put the wealth on this device and then have like maybe on your warm wallet you can have like 2 or 3 thousand just to kind of pay bills or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, so you have a wallet to hold this digital currency, and it monitors it. It shows you every transaction. It's all the transactions are recorded on what's called a blockchain. It's like a ledger of transactions that are around the world. It's everything operates from what's called the blockchain. This one big worldwide ledger. And yes, it's a great way to kind of it's much more efficient, I find, than fiat money because you're more aware of the money you're growing. You're more aware of how much you're making. I love sitting down with my daughter and showing her, okay, I just sent you, $2,000 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, you keep it in that wallet. Now I need you to send it over here. It's just very different,
Yeah.
very hands-on, much better than dealing in the banks. And you can do it in your bed. You do your
Right.
banking in your bed. So yeah, it's beautiful.
So when you talk about the let's talk about the digital thing. I want to kind of clear up for people a little bit about in computers, in the internet world, in any digital world, there's just zeros and ones, and there's trillions and gazillions of them, right?
Yep.
So each one of those gazillion things represent a thing, right? Like a something, right?
A thing
Right.
represents a thing. Yes.
Yeah, it's like all all those numbers represent something. Like when I type in my name or I send an email, it's going in digits, right? It's being
Hmm.
transferred in digits. It comes back in digits, and then it displays those digits display on my screen with whatever technology that they can display. So it's the
Hmm.
same kind of concept, except these digits are currency. They created a currency around all these digits that can be transferred from person to person without a middle person, without a middleman or a bank or interest rates are up or interest rates are down. No, there's none of that BS. It's just I'm gonna send Asada this, she's gonna send me this, and the transaction is between us and no one else, right?
Hmm.
So that's what really is appealing. That was what's appealing to me. So I want to actually ask you one more question. I have something here from Clayton is saying hello, Asada. And I have Fernando is saying that he's watching. Thank you, Fernando, for tuning in. And Clayton has a question. He goes, where does the money come from? Like stocks represent commodities and such.
So Bitcoin, when you start off, you're taking the money that you would have in fiat and you're transferring it over into Bitcoin, right? And you start to learn a different type of sort of measurement of calculating money. So now, if somebody sends me 0.0267 of a Bitcoin, in my mind now I know that that's 200 something dollars. Or in the club that we're part of is you need 0.0167 to become a part. So basically you get that amount in Bitcoin from the cash money that you have, and when you transfer it to Bitcoin, something happens, like your money starts growing in Bitcoin. You start to need the cash less and less. And so it's not like I constantly have to put money in Bitcoin, because I put a little bit into Bitcoin, and next thing I know, it's growing. It's just
Right.
keeps growing, and it's like cash. It's like I don't even want it, I don't even want cash, because it doesn't grow like Bitcoin grows. And so it's kind of like that. And they said that Bitcoin has performed better in 2 years than the stock market in 20 years. And so something that has that type of growth, I just make sure that we turn our cash into Bitcoin, and then
Right.
let it grow from there.
So the money comes from cash. It comes from the fiat
Initially.
money that you're talking. Initially, that's where it comes
Hmm.
from. It gets
Hmm.
put just transferred into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Um, Security. Let's talk a little bit about security, because that's usually people's like, if I'm sending money, guys, and I'm sending money to this is just I'm just throwing this up
Hmm.
as a something. So I'm sending money to this dude, right? And Ramon, I send him money, and he decides um to not send me the money that he owes me. Let's just say we've been transferring back. So if I send him like something, he could just say, this is a fear, right? I'm paying my bill. Let's say he's my electric company, right?
Hmm.
I pay
Hmm.
my electric company, and the electric company says, "Oh, we never got it." But yeah, I did. I have it right here. Well, we don't have it here. Where the security for the bank is that you can go over there and you can see Michelle behind the window and be like, Michelle, yo, I sent me money, man. Yo, they say I didn't get it. And you go, let me check in the system, and they go, and it pops up, and it makes people feel, okay, I have somewhere to go. What's to prevent that kind of a thing? Which I know there is. I'm just
Yeah.
playing dumb, which
No,
I do
but
well.
so one of the things about security and Bitcoin, first of all, the landscape of this financial space is increased responsibility to the 10th degree. Like you being responsible for the safety of your money. That's one side of security, right? Because people say stuff about security and it's like nobody can even touch your money. You're in charge of it, right? Now, what you do with that and who you transact it with is a choice, but that actual transfer, let's say you gave them the money and they tried to deny it, the reason why they wouldn't be able to deny it is because there's a transaction code that's related to that specific transaction.
Okay,
And
so
so you just say, oh, word, I didn't send it to you. You can go to the blockchain, boop, and you
right.
can click on you get a transaction code, open it up, and it'll show you what wallet it came from and what wallet it went to,
Uh,
and so there's
and
no
that's what the
denying that.
ledger
It's
is.
like, yeah,
You'd be
that's
like,
why
put the
Bitcoin's like
hand
a
up.
ledger. That's right. So it's like, yes, you did. Here it is. So
Yeah.
that on that side, it's security in that way. But you can't really play the fraud game like we're used to fraud with American money and counterfeiting, and you can't counterfeit no Bitcoin. You can't fraud. You can't create fraud in Bitcoin. Some people are afraid of like they say things like, "Oh God, this company and we got hacked and they took our Bitcoin." And no, it's the organization that the people got into and did whatever with the Bitcoin. But Bitcoin itself doesn't have any of that attached to it. And so how you store your Bitcoin is going to be most important. That's why this Trezor is the most secure. This is the most secure your Bitcoin can be because it's in your possession and it's off the internet. So it's people say, "What if I lose it?" I'm like, "Girl, you don't lose it. You put it in a safe. Like you just put it somewhere where it's in your
Right.
possession and that's
But
it."
it's
Um,
valuable. Don't
it's
lose
it's you're the bank. Like that's your bank now. It's not TD. It's
it.
not Chase. It's not PNC. No, you are the bank. Oh, retirement fund. What? Who needs a 401k when you got billions on this? Or
Right.
you're really creating your own money, but you also have to increase your responsibility though for the maintenance of that money. So when you get a wallet, whether it's that wallet or a warm wallet on your device, there are a series of codes on words that you're given. And if you do not take that seriously and write down those codes and put them in a place, I know a guy who lost $1,000 because he didn't write down his codes, and you can't get it back. There's no way to get the money because everybody's responsible for their own codes, or they should be. And so there was a man who had an institution who people had Bitcoin in his company, and he died. And what died with him were all of their codes. And so that was
Wow.
like $190 million
And that's it.
gone. Yeah. So
Wow. So I got a few questions here. Let me see. Can you talk about the 21 million set amount of mind? I don't know what any of this means, but maybe you can.
look, they don't make me put my glasses back on for them. I know what they're talking about. So they said, can you talk about 21 million set amount of mine BTC and 4-year halving, how it affects price? Sure. So basically, there are only going to be 21 million Bitcoin produced, period. Period. It's not like, something happened and they go, "Hey, yo, Trump, print up some more money. All right, hold
Right.
up. I'll get with you in a minute." Print the money in. Right, right. So that doesn't happen. It's going to be 21 million Bitcoin produced, period. Okay. And so, I'm trying to encourage people, you want to get a little bit of this now. That's what you want to do. Right. And because once it gets to that point, now there's going to be scarcity. And boy, is that price going to rise because of the scarcity of the Bitcoin. Right. So there's
Right.
that. But then the other part about the I don't see, what was the question about mining? I just
Mining. Hold on one second.
Oh,
The
good.
mind
And
beat.
having.
Yeah.
Okay,
And oh yeah, yeah.
sure. So there's a process called halving. And what the halving represents is a period of time where Bitcoin's value goes down, right? It just started, I think, in Marchish, Aprilish, right? Bitcoin's value goes down because with regards to miners are guys who verify the transaction. So when I sent you that 10 million, there are people who have to verify it before it gets to me. And that means to make sure that there's nothing wrong with it, there's nothing, no foul play, no whatever, just for like, kind of layman's terms. And it gets verified by 5 different miners. Let's say like gold miners went in a cave and knocked the thing. Well, Bitcoin miners have a bunch of machines and they verify transactions. And so there's a process where you're talking about the price went down, but then I'm talking about the price of Bitcoin, right? Per Bitcoin. But then it starts to shoot up. So what we're seeing right now, Bitcoin stayed at like $9,000 and change in the month of April, like right around the time of the pandemic. It was staying at one place, like 9,000, 9,500, didn't really move. And then it started breaking a little bit. And now we've looked at, I'm telling you, in like a month and a half, Bitcoin has gone from like 7,800, $8,000 and jumped all the way now to almost $12,000 in that short
Yeah,
amount of time.
I saw it because I got into it right around maybe a month and a half ago, and I've been
Sure,
seeing it go up
sure.
consistently.
Right. So we're coming out of that process now, the halving, right? And it's gonna keep going up. It's going to 12,000, but pretty soon it could be at 15,000. I was working with Bitcoin when it went up to $20,000 in 2017. So in terms of that process, the halving, and you guys please do more research. I think it's very important to research Bitcoin, and research just means taking data until you really learn and understand it. That's not the definition, but I'm saying some people say, I got to research it first. I got to research.
Yeah,
You ain't no researcher, but anyway, but still,
yeah,
just go find out more information and you'll learn more about the process. But basically, that's what happens with the process. And yes, that's how it affects price. So we're watching, I think we're coming out of that halving period and we're watching Bitcoin go up in price. And we're benefiting, those of us that have some are benefiting from it.
right. That's awesome. Let me have another question here. Let me. Do you see companies and stores paying employees with Bitcoin? Would it would it have to be specific digital money? Be a
So
specific digital money?
say that again. What'd you just say?
An a specific digital money, not just digital money, but a special specific one.
Sure. Well, the Netherlands is the first country to pay salaries in Bitcoin.
Oh
Okay.
wow!
Yeah, so there's that's
Right,
happening. They wanted to try to give digital money during this whole stimulus situation when the pandemic started. They were talking about the digital dollar, right? And so yeah, whatever. The thing about when you start getting into currencies that are put out by the government, like JP Morgan Chase was talking about, anti-Bitcoin all the way, but February of 2019 made the JP coin, and then you have they're talking about a coin for Facebook called Libra or something like that, or Libra, whatever it's called. So you can create your own coin. So will people use a different coin for paying bills? Maybe if they desire. But in terms of Bitcoin, I mean, that can easily be done. I can easily pay employees in Bitcoin. If I was an employee, I would rather get paid in Bitcoin because when I got paid in it and it went up, so you might
right,
have paid me $1,000 for 2 days work or whatever, but yeah, that 1,000 could turn to 2,000 even after the day that I did the labor. So companies that pay in Bitcoin or are starting to present it as an option sounds beautiful. People usually have more Bitcoin than they do cash because of the way that it moves. So
right,
yeah, we'll probably start seeing that not too long from now, particularly because societies are going cashless. So there's going to be the issue of, well, what currency do we use? Now, for those of us that know, we'll have our Bitcoin and we'll be good to go. But for those of us that don't, we'll fall for the okie doke and go, you got a coin? I'll
right.
get your coin,
So
and still be suppressed with that.
so that's kind of like the that's where people really have to be careful, right? That to fall into a currency or an organization that kind of comes together and say we got this really great Bitcoin and you guys all it's called blah blah and you guys put and this and then that's the one that folds or whatever happens. You have to be very very careful. So you really need to educate yourself. And I liken it to a little bit like when money first came. If you start thinking about somebody has gold, right? You say, what do you got? I got two chickens and a horse I want to buy. Okay, I got this hunk of gold. How much is that? And let's weigh it, right? They would weigh
Mhm.
it. and then this is what they would pay them in gold. Suddenly, somebody came and said, "Well, we're going to give you this paper, so you don't have to carry around those golden rocks. This paper will be the same value as this silver or this gold." So they would take that and they would go and they would purchase things. During that whole process, which I guess is not really that much, people don't really talk about it much, but there must have been so much people getting ripped off, so much confusion of people saying like the money, here's a dollar bill. He goes, well, where did you get this from? The government gave it to me. Oh, somebody printing it. And that's why counterfeit dollars was such a big deal. Not so much today. I'm sure it still happens today, but not so much today as it was, like in the 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
that's where really people have to educate themselves in. So let's say somebody comes in new. I have someone here who says, I'm watching this with my 11-year-old daughter, and oh wow, she says we are both intrigued and interested. This is Almi. She's a good friend of my family's, wonderful mother and educator. So somebody who's completely like Almi right now, just interested, wants to learn. What's one of the first steps that they should do to kind of educate themselves, like really educate themselves, not like that lady said, I'm gonna have to research this. I don't mean that. I mean really go somewhere where you can really just learn the basics and kind of then just get a better assessment.
So there are a couple of things, guys. Literally, you can go on the internet, go to YouTube, and put in Bitcoin basics. And there are some really good videos out there that break it down. They're animated and they explain. One lady had something where she explained blockchain, but she had like a 6-year-old talk about it. Then she had like a grade school age talk about it. Then she had a teenager talk about it. Then a college age, like really showed the span of knowledge about blockchain with
Oh,
these
that's cool.
ages. And I thought that was cool. So that's on YouTube. And I think there's some great videos that you could just kind of get the understanding of how it works, where it comes from, how it's mined, all of the different details. So that's one thing. Now, me personally, John, like we're in a Bitcoin club. And the reason why the Bitcoin club was started in the first place is that people did get manipulated in the cryptocurrency space, like for real, because there were countries from any part of the world. You can't even tell what part of the world is from. And you get in and they say, oh, pay this Bitcoin. And next thing you know, you can't find them and your Bitcoin is gone. So people got handled like that, unfortunately. And so people are fearful of Bitcoin. But we're in a Bitcoin club that really safeguards our involvement, our growth of it. Its intention is to help us grow with Bitcoin, learn about it. We learn about not only how cryptocurrency works, but we learn about other financial platforms like, you might have a 401k, but after they finish messing with it, it might look like a 201k. We learn about, how do you create enough money that you can use through retirement. We learn about improving our credit. Like it's all of these different financial platforms, and you can use cryptocurrency as your base for just creating cash flow. So like the owner of the club, he said, you all don't have a debt problem. He said, you have a cash flow problem. You're right. You know what I'm saying? You're exactly right. So that it's a space where we create cash flow, but it's in Bitcoin. And so you're not dealing with the isms of what it means when you have money, nor are you dealing with, oh, I got it in the bank and I'm only making, 0.04% of my money. You come up in this Bitcoin club, you make 300 and 400% on the money that you initially brought to the table. And so it's just been a wonderful place. I've been in this Bitcoin club for about 3 years. So my daughter started when she was 13. She's 16 now. And she's been making Bitcoin ever since, and now has a different, she has friends like on the different Twitter, Snapchat, whatever they be doing. And they kind of see what I post about her and they go, I want to do Bitcoin. So these are teenagers now going to this other 16-year-old. Hey, I want to do Bitcoin. If these guys start really growing Bitcoin now, they will be retiring at like 25 easy. Like they won't have to have jobs and things like that. And it's great because it's going to change the trajectory of their futures. That 11-year-old that's watching, see, Bitcoin has no rules. So she can start growing Bitcoin right now. It's not, there's nothing to hold that back. She can have an account. You all can go tonight and go to BitPay Secure Bitcoin Wallet in your app store or in your Play Store and just go download the wallet. So you can download a digital wallet and get the security numbers and all that kind of stuff. You need to be walked through it. Of course, I'm available to help you. But also, how many of us have Cash App? You can buy Bitcoin and Cash App. I do transactions in Cash App, Bitcoin transactions all the time,
Yeah.
and so it's a real thing. You can buy cars with Bitcoin. You buy a car in Bitcoin, you're going to pay less than if you bought it in cash because they don't have to charge you fees and do paperwork. Go ask them. Go to a car dealership and ask if they take Bitcoin. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes, because that's just the way it is. You buy airline tickets with it. So it's great for a family. Like we build in this club, we're building wealth plans now as families. Who does that? Like we weren't raised that way, where we're developing wealth plans. But for me, my teenager, I want her to be an heiress. I need her to be an heiress, because we're not going to do another generation of struggling. We're not going to do that,
Right.
and this takes the suppression off. It takes the ceiling off, and you can't get the loan for the house, and you can't. Oh, don't worry about that. Get on out of here. That's my house. That's my house, and that's my house, because
Right.
you make that type of money here. So it changes who has the control. And the thing
Right.
about having Bitcoin is nobody can control you. It's absolutely your money.
There's no credit ratings and what your credit is and all that stuff.
Right?
Does everyone, is it better for somebody to be part of a club or of a group of people doing Bitcoin, or can they just go out and learn and do it completely on their own?
Sure. I mean, you can go out and get Bitcoin on your own. You can go get $10 worth. You can buy 100, 1,200, whatever you want of Bitcoin on your own. And what you'll do is you'll be watching the market. You'll be looking at your money and then looking to see if Bitcoin went up, and you'll see your money go up. Or you see Bitcoin's value goes down and you see your money go down. And you might get worried because you don't really have a way of recouping when it goes down, right? But
Right.
in our Bitcoin club, we don't care what it does, because we make money from Bitcoin. We're taught to leverage it. So it has a different function. We're not investing at all, but we're leveraging Bitcoin, and it's making it so that even when Bitcoin's value goes down, many of us are making more money because people are joining the club more. So I can't speak for other organizations. I can only speak for this one, because of the ethics of this place. Like it
Right.
has a very high integrity. You cannot come in here with no okie dokie, kokie dokie, nothing. Like you can't play games, and
Right.
we really are a family, and it's global. I do webinars to Africa and the UK every week, twice a week. Um, just talking and just today I'm on the phone with a lady from the UK and helping her, and then we have like a very big team growing in Zambia. That's extremely empowering, because you're talking about a country who is quote unquote not wealthy or poor, and they get to be in a Bitcoin club where they're making equal to $200 and $300. You know how much that is in
That's a
Zambian
lot.
kwacha, you know what I'm saying? So they're making all, the money that can change the face of their villages, and it's amazing, you know what I'm saying? So in our club, it's just a safe space where we really are. The owner of the club, his name is Barry Perkinson. He makes sure we are making money and making sure that we understand the rules. It's like the rules that the rich know, but we don't know. We're learning those rules, and then so we get to play a different game. We become a different type of game creator instead of just being moved around a game board. We actually are creating games and fulfilling our purposes, because now we have the cash flow to do this. We talked about my book fair. My book fair costs like $85,000 to really run every year, and I have always been so agonized by paying for my book fair, because you got to raise that money, and people are giving you $20 here and $20 there, and $20, how much you needed those to get $85,000. But now that I'm in this club and really making larger sums of money, I can pay for it myself.
Mhm.
I don't have to fundraise anymore. That's amazing to me. So it's making all the difference in the world.
I love it, and part of the reason why I like this group is what you said earlier about the integrity and the ethics of it,
Mhm.
because that was always my concern. Even when I was talking to a few people that were talking to me about it, I just didn't feel comfortable with it. You know what I mean? And knowing you, and obviously trusting you, and having you as a friend for years, um, it was kind of like a no brainer to listen. You know what I mean? Let me just listen. Let me hear it out, and then after, so that's just amazing to me. What's Let me just I have a few comments here. I want to the other coins, all USD will
Altcoins.
not have the same properties of Bitcoin. Digital dollar will be all right. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
They're
I mean, it's
just
kind of
creating a little a fake coin. Just because people are buying Bitcoin, they're gonna think, oh, Well, why would I go buy Bitcoin when I could just transfer all my Chase money to Chase Bitcoin, dummy? And
Yeah,
there's definitely Bitcoin. Yeah, right.
it's a matter of power, guys. You know,
It
if you
is.
want
Yeah.
to be in charge of your money and you want to have it grow and nobody take it away from you or limit you from anything, then you want to know about Bitcoin and what it can do. In terms
Right.
of there are other coins out there, altcoins and what have you, but nobody's big like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a big popper right now. So
Right.
that's what I deal with. Everything else is, so
So Fernando says, is he using the word tarding? Is that a word
it's
that you've?
probably trading.
Oh, train. Okay,
Do
because
you?
maybe there is a word called tarding, and I just
I
haven't.
know, right? It's trading
Remembered.
probably. So he
Okay,
wants to know,
maybe
do we do
trading.
trading in our club? How does a club help grow Bitcoin?
Oh, I
So
see.
what I recommend is we do webinars every single night. And so I would say come on
Every
those
night.
webinars. And I don't know if you hear an echo of my voice or not, but I'm hearing a little echo. But we don't trade though. We do have a trading academy inside the club. And the owner, it's not up right now, but for those who want to trade, they have a trading academy, or we have different levels in our club. And so because everybody has different socioeconomic backgrounds, so you're talking about the starter level is crypto 101. The level 1 helps you improve your credit and get extreme credit, not just 800 or 900 credit score, but do you have 100? Are you liquid $100,000 in credit? If not, that's what we help you teach. Level 3 will deal with business credit. Level 4 will deal with not having a 401k, but a solo 401k. That's where you own your retirement plan. And so we have, and I'm telling you about the levels because level 5 is HELOC, so you learn how to live in your home mortgage free. But level 6 is where you can actually learn about trading. And the only person in level 6 right now is me.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, it's a higher level. You get higher levels of money. So the way that the money flows there, and Fernando, I recommend coming to one of the webinars. But the money that I will make and whoever else is at level 6, they will make. They may put in $24,000, but will come out with close to $100,000 just in that level. That's not including the levels prior that we make money in. And yeah, how many Bitcoin is that? If Bitcoin is $11,000, you coming out of level 5 with like 3 Bitcoin, and level 6, you're coming out with a whole another it's just a lot. Like it's
Yeah.
to the point now where I go grocery shopping now, I never look at the prices. I don't care what the prices are. I just put in the cart what I like. And then, it's not about being frivolous or not caring, but it's just you don't have attention on not having. I can't afford this. I can't do it. Like I don't have that type of attention anymore. So it's more about what can I build, and then just looking at, how much do I need? And then I make it in the club. So the club generates Bitcoin, you guys, from being members. And so, yeah, you can definitely come to one of our webinars. You want me to give them the webinar address for that? Like for them to go
Yeah.
to? Yeah.
Yeah. If you
So
want to.
yeah, sure. And you can see me guys live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern at mlstv1.com. That's MLS Mary Larry Sally TV1.com. And that's the
TV
number
one, the
one.
number one, or
The
the.
number one, yep, the number one. So mlstv1.com. And yeah, you can come and see for yourself how this is made up. If you come on a Wednesday night at 9, I explain wonderful definitions that you need, and the structure, how we make the money. Also, if you know people from Africa or the UK, I do those webinars on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. And that was 9 p.m. Eastern, the previous one that I mentioned. So yeah, and just learn for yourself how we do it. And we really take time to teach you about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically, and how to build it. I wrote a book too. I did. Look at this. I wrote this book. Oh my God. Oh my God, Bitcoin.
You got a
With
book.
that.
Nice.
Okay. So I made Bitcoin for Black people. People say, well, why just Black people? Because I'm Black. This is what I'm going to do. But particularly, it really has to do with the fact that we've been grossly disenfranchised in America, and really around the world, but especially in America, to where when you talk about money, when you talk about commerce, when you talk about, we've been so bamboozled that we really need a check-in to
Mhm.
correct that, and then make it go right. And so the one way that we can overcome being so disenfranchised in the financial world is by using cryptocurrency, is by using Bitcoin, because for once, no one controls our
Right.
usage of it. No one controls our being able to get it. And so literally, I mean, we're about to change our own worlds. Not even, I don't even care about other people's world, but we can actually bring ourselves up by
Right.
doing and using Bitcoin. So that's why I wrote the book, so we can get an idea of how to apply it properly.
Love it. I have one question here from Clayton. So he said, if someone for some reason wants to cash out of Bitcoin, can they turn their Bitcoin back to fiat money? I guess this
Yep.
is a common concern, or I guess that this is where people get into fear. And they're like, can I just take my money out and run? For whatever
Yeah.
reason they
Yeah.
have to do
So
that. But
you could definitely take your Bitcoin out and make it back into fiat. The one reason I wouldn't recommend it is because you're taking money who could, it's $10 one day and it's $100 another day. And when you take it out as $10, you just have $10. And it's
forever.
not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to move. It's just going to stay there. And so I wouldn't, in this day and age, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take it out and put it back in the fiat. If you got to pay a bill or something, let's say you got to pay your mortgage, cool. You know, leave some Bitcoin in there, take out what you need for your mortgage, do what you got to do. And then, you know, your money's still growing. But if someone took all their money out of Bitcoin, uh, it's a choice. You can definitely do. I just wouldn't do it, because you take it from a place where it's making 300 and 400 and 1,000% on what you put in, back to a place that's giving you 0.04%. You know what I'm saying? On your money you put in the bank, you know, and go back to getting like less than 1% on your money. So yeah, I wouldn't do it for those reasons. But when you put it in Bitcoin, you're going to see it grow exponentially. And even when it goes down, Bitcoin used to be less than a penny a coin, guys. Like not that long ago, like in 2009, it was less than a penny per coin. Now it is worth almost $12,000 per coin. So the stock, not even the stock market, has seen that level of growth in the amount of time that it's been around.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just saw something. It was in 2011. It was 30 cents.
Mhm.
So if you would have bought just $30 worth of Bitcoin in 2011, it would be almost $6 million today.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So is there people are probably looking at it right now and thinking, do I still have? Is it too late?
Mm. Good question.
That what do you say?
It's not too late, you know, and the reason why it's not too late, I mean, when it first started and somebody had like 10,000 Bitcoin talking about, oh, I could buy a piece of pizza with 10,000 Bitcoin. Well, you got 10,000 Bitcoin now, you rolling pretty. They're rolling pretty, but it's not too late for you to benefit, because although it's 10 years old, Bitcoin is about 10 years old, but because you can buy it in fractions and make it, watch it grow depending on what you do with it. I can't speak for people that do it by themselves in the market, but in our Bitcoin club, I know we grow Bitcoin exponentially. So I really get to feel that it's not too late. You know, I've been in it for 3 years, but I've only really been strongly productive in like this last 5 months. Whenever we've been on lockdown, I mean, I had no choice. It was like I'm a public speaker, I'm an author, I do the book fair, but ain't nobody coming to my book fair, no COVID, you know, or the schools are closed. I'm not speaking anywhere. So I had to do something to have, to create a living. And so, Bitcoin was the thing. And it really, it grows so fast that in a 5 month period of time, I don't know, guys, it might be looking kind of six figure-ish.
Yeah, yeah.
Last 5 months, So yeah, the money just grows so good here. I don't even know what question you asked me just now. There's just so much I could say about
Um,
Bitcoin,
no,
how
I
it
think
grows.
you answered. I think you answered. It was about the I don't remember either. I was, but
Hercules, Hercules.
you
Oh,
take
yeah.
out what you need. Yeah.
So they say
I
that's
mean, you
cool.
could also, if you have it in Bitcoin, though, you may be able to use it for what you need instead of taking it out and using it for what you need.
Oh yeah.
Depending on what it is. Maybe you want to buy a car. You don't take the money out and go buy a car. You go and see if they can, if you buy a car with Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it could go both ways. I mean, if they take Bitcoin, you can definitely use Bitcoin. But if you don't, like I said this earlier, this
Right.
debit card, you go ahead and just switch your Bitcoin to this and then just use this.
Use that.
And that's how I pay my bills and stuff. So I only take Bitcoin out for what I need, and I leave it there to grow. That's it. I don't, we might splurge a little bit. Patience. Last week, I kept seeing packages come in the mail, and it was like sneakers were coming in the mail, and sugar scrubs, and sunglasses, and so she was just purchasing. She was like, "Can you switch some of that Bitcoin over to my Cash App?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay. Can you send me at least 1,000 in my Cash App?" I was like, "Yes, I can," which is great. Usually we were raised on, "Girl, you crazy? You know how money don't grow on trees," which it did, but money don't grow on trees. And then, so
Right.
just all of that you can't do. And that lack, it does feel good to tell my teenager, "Sure, I'll send you 1,000. Hold on. Ooh, give it to her." And, so
It
yeah.
it feels like it's really a re-education, a completely new way of thinking of currency, and it's really difficult for people because they're just so into even this expression right here that I'm doing with my fingers. This is not Bitcoin. You know what I mean? It's
You're
like
right.
right. So all of it is like completely different. Where is Asada located? Asada is located in her home in Chicago. Ta-da!
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in Chicago, but the internet makes me global. So
Globally, that's
I'm
right.
always accessible. I'm a Facebook girl. You can definitely find me on there. There's a spelling of my name right there. You'll see me in front of the water with my head wrap on. Boo, boo, doo, 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 doo. And just enjoying life. This is a Bitcoin is a reflection of where we are just as a world. It's a technological world, even to the point of proper probably some destruction. But I'm just saying, it makes sense that the money is digital now. It makes sense that there's Uber. It makes sense that there's Cash App, and it makes sense that we're not, like we're not reading from encyclopedias anymore.
Right.
Fiat money is like the encyclopedia of money.
Right. There you go.
Hey, but no, it's digital. We're all digital. And so it's about understanding it. I think it's wonderful in terms of you have a different level of trust that is evolving because of crypto, because it's really dealing with me and you, peer to peer, you trusting me trusting you, us doing transactions, and trusting in our ability. And it's just different. It creates a different fiber of,
Right.
working with money, and it's not cutthroat and the things that we're used to, because even with the coming of paper money, that's all cutthroat game stuff. The first money, even if it was cowrie shells, like we used cowrie shells as money at one point, that's God's money. Like, you can go to the beach and go get you some of those, get you
Right.
some cowrie shells, and, big ones, small ones. But then you come with this money and you put your face on it and you put numbers on it and you say, you can't have it and I control it. And so that game is over, and the people now own the currency and can flourish from it and flourish without boundaries. So it's a different time, a very
Yeah.
good time, for us
Yeah.
to just do whatever we want and grow. Yeah.
I love the analogy of like, the bank is we don't go to encyclopedias anymore. The bank is sort of like the encyclopedia, Like I
True.
wanna go up to my bank and go to Chase and be like, "You're nothing but Britannica." That's what they say. You
You a
probably don't know what
liar.
you're Britannica. Um,
That's awesome. You're
I don't
Britannica.
even know what the hell I say, but
That's so funny.
um,
Yeah.
so Asada,
What's up?
I want to thank you so much for being here. It's such a pleasure. I feel like we really covered a lot. Actually, I'm really happy that we covered a lot. And there's a lot of interest out there. I want to kind of put this together so people can just educate themselves.
Mhm.
Um, and this website that's down there, the 337go.com,
Mhm.
also has more information on it. There's videos there, and it goes into the whole. Now, is that more for the club?
Sure. If you go to the 337go.com, that's going to tell you about the club that we're part of. It does talk about some of the other financial platforms that we learn about. It does show you testimonies from people that are in the club. So it's a good place to get some good basic information. You
Mhm.
can go on YouTube. I have a video there. It's called Asada Bitcoin 2020 or something like that. And then it explains just the basic way that we make money in the club and how it's structured. I'm about to redo it, but you can go there and get some insight. And then, if you're interested in Bitcoin, you can see John. Like, John will put you, or me, he'll put you, what, so, and we'll really help. My goal is to help us build. And I love this analogy, but the brother that created this club, Wall Street, very, very heartfelt dude, used to be in the service, drill sergeant, right? But he really does care about folks getting this knowledge. And I liken him to Noah, because people like to say, oh, Wall Street needs to do this. But Noah was just asked to build the boat. Wall Street built the club. And now it's just about us getting on the boat, like 2x2. Let's do it. It's actually a 2x2, this structure. And I just love it, because that's all we have to do is just go to the art, go get involved. And so people say, oh, I don't want to be involved in the club, I don't want to do this. I think it's perfectly fine. You can make choices in your life about what you want to do. But for those of us that are making that choice to be in the club, it's just a wise one, because you're not by yourself, and people are there to help all the time. And if you look at people around the world, particularly people of color, they always have had systems of building money that involved groups, not involving just you by yourself pulling up your bootstraps. No, literally groups that you come together and you have money systems where the collective comes together, gets the money, and then everybody benefits. So, and I sort of see our club like that. You know, we are coming together and we're creating cash flow with each other, and because of each other. Like, there's no government funding going like this. Here's money. For once, we're literally taking our own dollars, bringing them together and empowering each other. And I think that is just a wonderful testament to taking something we used to do, bringing it present time, and benefiting forward from there.
I love it. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited to be part of the club. So, full disclosure, I am part of the club, and I'm actually, it's been incredible. It's been like a month, but I took some other bigger steps, actually today, I think, or yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that too. So anyway, Asadah, thank you so much. I hope you come back again, and we'll do a second part, and we'll talk more about it. So I love it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Thank you.
Peace, guys. Thanks, John. I love you.
I love you too.
Peace.
All right. So now Asadah Kirkland. Holy cow. Wasn't that incredible? I think I am going to go up to Chase and be like, you're nothing but Britannica. What do you think? I don't know if I'll do that. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, all the comments and everything. I appreciate you all. Tomorrow is Tuesday, so tomorrow night is Music Makers with break time. So I'll be back live at 9:30. So I'll see you then. Thank you all. And as always,